The theory part of our application actually using tests, right? So we write a test to make it pass, and then we say, okay, this feature works. But now we need to see the practical. So let's create a new series, and I'm gonna call that VJS Beginners Course. I'll upload a series image, and I'm gonna put in VJS Beginners Course description. Right here is the description. And if we create this series and everything works fine, we should have a new image uploaded into our public series directory. Okay? So create series, and now we're redirected to this page. Let's check out our storage directory. So in our storage directory now we have a series directory and we have the image we uploaded. But now in our public directory we also have the storage and we have the series directory and we have this image also. So Laravel automatically synchronized the image we uploaded, right? Now we have that image publicly available for us. So how do we deal with it to display it? I'll head over back to my home directory and we don't have that image displayed. So what I'd like to do is actually create a Laravel accessor, and this accessor is going to give us the correct path to view this image. Okay, how do we create this Laravel? So to create this Laravel accessor, we are going to be using a unit test. So I'll create a unit test, PHP artisan make test, and this is actually going to be in our series class. So I'm going to make a test called series, and I'm going to tell Laravel it's a unit test. Okay, so if we head over to our test directory and into our unit directory, we have this series.php. Now, what's the difference between the unit test and the feature test? Remember, our feature test is mostly going to make HTTP requests. So it's dealing with our Laravel application as a black box. You put in a request and you expect a particular response out. But then our unit tests are going to be method focused or class focused. So we want a method to function in a particular way, and we want maybe a class to function in a particular way. So we run unit test at the unit level. Okay, so the first one is I'm gonna test series can get image path. Okay, whatever name suits you. So first of all, we need to test that the image can get a series path, and what we're going to be doing is creating a series. So series equals factory, and that will be for the series class, and we'll persist that to the database. Now I would like to overwrite the default that is created in this series, and I would like to set my own image URL so I can pass in an array into this create method, and I'm gonna say the image URL should be set to series, and I'm gonna say series slug.png because this is the format that we are using to save into our database, right? Now what we want to do is we want to get image path to be equal to series image path. Okay, and we're gonna run an assertion. So assert equals, and our expectation is that it should be storage series slug.png. Okay, because remember we have published to our public directory and we have storage series and then the image path. Okay, so we are asserting that this image path is equal to the image path that we have right here. Okay, so on our series class we should be able to have an image path property that is automatically going to get this from the database and actually give us this. Okay, let's run this test. PHP unit filter to this test. It says no test executed. Looks like we need to prefix this with test so that Laravel knows this is one of our test files, and I'll rename this to series test. Okay, so let's run that, and now we have a failing test. Awesome. So what does it say? It says unable to locate factory with name test unit series, so we need to specify our path. So badcast series class, run that test. It says test unit badcast series, I'm sorry, so we have to escape it so it checks from the origin. Run again, and now we have failed asserting that null matches expected storage series slug png. Now how do we get this sort of syntax from Laravel? We simply use what we call accessors, right? So an accessor is going to get something from the database, and before returning it to us, it's going to edit it in some way or another. So in our series.php, we're gonna create an accessor, public function, And the format for accessors is get and then image path. So the camel case for how we want to use the accessor, and would add attribute at the end. So get image path attribute is simply supposed to return to us a particular string, right? So would return storage concatenate with this image URL. Okay, so let's run that again, and now the test passes, but we're using some little Laravel magic behind the scenes. So now we have an accessor that we can use by simply calling series image path, and would get the correct path to display the image in our views. Okay, now this is an option you might want to consider, and that is in our test, rather than testing that the path is correct, we can test that the URL is correct. So we can say asset this, because we have a helper asset method in Laravel that is automatically going to get the URL for this resource, and we can run our test using that. Now we have a failing test because this is what we expected when we use the asset method, and this is what is returned from our accessor. So we can now wrap all of this in our asset method, run that again, and now we have a successful test. Great. So remember, when you're actually testing using the asset method, your .env file should contain the correct credentials right here, like the app URL. If not, Laravel is going to try to get this URL in the testing environment, and if it's not set correctly, you might have a failing test. Okay, so that's it. We were able to write a new unit test that makes sure that when we call image path, it gives us the correct path to the image. Now that we have that, we can head over to our well.php, our welcome, and rather than echoing out asset and all of this long string, we can just call series get image path, and that's it. Let's refresh this page. Great, and that's our image. So looks like our test successfully told us that we can get the image path, and now we can successfully get the image path.